If you've met me before, you probably know that I love eating clotted cream and scones. Cream tea, afternoon tea, I just love that stuff. And it's one of the things I really enjoy about living in England is getting to enjoy a cream tea. Well, a couple years ago, I decided to try my hand at making these things here in my kitchen in Texas. I met with very limited success, but it's a new year, it's a new kitchen. I just had my kitchen totally remodeled, and so I have a renewed desire to make clotted cream and scones, and I'm having hope that they turn out well this time. So come with me as I show you my attempt at making the best clotted cream. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it 3 times. I'm gonna make sure I get some good clotted cream out of this effort. At the end of this video, I will share a recap of my best tips on making the perfect clotted cream. These are tips I didn't hear in any other video I watched, but were key to me finally getting the right consistency after many attempts at this recipe. The trickiest part of making stovetop clotted cream is knowing when to take it off the heat. Stay tuned to see exactly what to look for, and equally important, what mistakes to avoid, because I made a lot of mistakes in my continued experimentation with this recipe. So let's talk about ingredients and process. When it comes to ingredients, there's really just one ingredient for clotted cream. Cream. Heavy cream, double cream. Cream that has a high fat content. And sometimes in recipes, butter is added to increase that butter fat or milk fat percentage. But the ingredient of what kind of cream you use is pretty important. So now I'm gonna break to the video of me shopping at a few supermarkets and trying to get some cream to use to make clotted cream today. When it comes to choosing the best cream to buy, I'm going to give you advice based on the 10 batches of clotted cream I've made, and I'm going to boil this down for you. Forgive the clotted cream pun. If you live in the UK, buy double cream. If you live in the US, buy a heavy whipping cream that is labeled as 36% fat on it somewhere, like these products I found in Safeway and in Kroger. Or buy a heavy whipping cream like this store brand product at H-E-B that says in the nutrition facts panel that it has 6 grams of fat per tablespoon. I think that's closer to 40% fat. If you live elsewhere, just make sure you're getting the highest fat content cream possible, hopefully in the 35 to 40% range. Here I am with the cream that I bought. I've got a quart of this heavy whipping cream from H-E-B, and I've got a quart of this heavy whipping cream, the Lucerne brand. And I also have this glass jar that is a pint of heavy cream from a local dairy in Texas. This has no nutrition facts on it, so I don't know what the fat content is on this, but it's got to be at least as high as these other ones, so I'm going to give them all a try in hopes that I get some good clotted cream out of this. Now let's talk about the process. There are several ways to make clotted cream. There's the oven method, there's the stovetop method, there's the microwave method, and there's the Instant Pot method. Now, I have never tried the oven method, but my friend Hillary did this summer while I was in England, and she shared with me some photos and videos of how that went for her. When you make clotted cream in the oven, you get that really thick layer of cream that is clotted or thickened, and then you have a whey layer of just the liquidy part that separates from the thick cream solids. This is similar to what happens when you make it in the Instant Pot, and I did a video a couple years back of making clotted cream in the Instant Pot. Making clotted cream in the Instant Pot is similar to the oven because you are just cooking it very low for a very long time and separating that clotted thickened cream into a different layer from the whey. I don't think Hillary was 100% happy with making it in the oven. I was not 100% happy with my results in the Instant Pot. It was good, but it was just a little too thick, and I didn't like the consistency. It wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be. I also tried making it in the microwave, And I had a problem with boiling over. It's hard to determine exactly how long to cook it in the microwave. The microwave, I think, is problematic because you have the volume of cream you're using, you have the size of the container you're putting it in, and it's hard to judge exactly how long to cook it. Microwaves have different power levels, and all of those things are a factor, so it's too easy to undercook it, which you don't know until you've let it chill overnight in the fridge, or overcook it, and then you end up with really hard, stiff clotted cream that is too thick. So I'm going to try this stovetop method today with my 3 different containers of cream, so let's go. Here I am with my brand new induction stovetop or hob. And I'm going to first use this little pint of the heavy cream from the local farm and use this small saucepan. I've emptied all that cream in there. Looks delicious. And now I'm adding about a couple teaspoons of butter in for added fat. And in this larger saucepan, I'm going to pour the entire quart of the Lucerne heavy cream and cook that with about a tablespoon of butter. Here's a quick word about the butter I'm using. You want to use really high quality, delicious butter. And here in the US, most of our butter is not very good, but I buy special butter. I buy this Amish country roll butter. It's a 2-pound log of butter that is good quality grass-fed butter, and it definitely tastes better. It's nice that this saucepan actually has a measuring line on the side so I can see that it's starting at a quart, and hopefully I can see that after it bubbles and reduces that it is less volume and therefore thick enough. I've got both pots boiling and bubbling here, trying to get the cream to thicken enough. The cream seems thickened, and I'm going to pour it in this glass bowl you can see when you pour it out and you run your spoon through the cream, it leaves a trail in the pan. So we're gonna put this thickened cream into a glass bowl to fully cool before putting it into the refrigerator overnight. And here we have the second batch of clotted cream. This is the quart of the Lucerne clotted cream. And this also leaves a trail on the bottom of the pan. Hopefully, we have sufficiently reduced both of these creams, and I got the larger glass container with the quart in it and the smaller glass bowl with the pint in it, and let's see what they look like tomorrow. Now let's check it out and see if we have clotted cream. Okay, I have these 2 bowls. Now we're going to see what the texture is. I've got this little ramekin here with adorable hedgehogs whisking their clotted cream. So gonna just see what it looks like. Oh wow, look at that. Oh, that is beautiful. Yeah, that is way better than any of the clotted cream I made before. That looks amazing. So I'm gonna take a big scoop of that one. And then I have this little hedgehog ramekin. Oh, this one's different. In this ramekin, I'm going to put the cream from the larger bowl. So this was a different type of cream. And it is a lot runnier. I also am going to make one last batch of clotted cream using this cream. Now this is the one that said it had more fat content than the other quart size container I used. So we'll see how this does. I ended up cooking the first 2 batches for kind of a long time, more than 30 minutes, I think. And the smaller batch that came out thicker, I don't know how much fat content it had because it didn't have a nutrition facts panel on it. So let's try making this And that will be a third batch of clotted cream. And I think I'm going to put it at medium. And in it, I will pour the entire quart of this H-E-B heavy whipped cream. I'm also going to add about 2 teaspoonsful of butter. We're going to just whisk it and heat that for a while until it starts to bubble. I do really prefer this stovetop method because it doesn't have the waste of that buttermilk liquidy layer underneath, and it also doesn't have the really crusty layer on top that the oven method has, or the Instant Pot method. Okay, I'm about to get my third batch of clotted cream out of the fridge and try it. Okay, feels pretty firm. Oh yeah, it is firm. You can see it's really smooth. It's just velvety smooth. So that's the most important thing. It doesn't have a tough crust on top like the baked clotted cream that's done in an oven or even the Instant Pot. And I love that. I love that it's kind of silky smooth throughout. It's just when you cook it this long, it is pretty stiff coming straight out of the fridge. Then I made another batch using a pint of cream, but this time in the larger saucepan. I love how when it bubbles, it looks like tapioca. But I cooked it for 30 minutes after it started boiling, and that was way too much. So it was way too thick. This was the attempt where I learned it was not the cream so much as the amount of time and the heat at which you cook the cream that really matters. I made another batch with this cream from the local farm that I thought was so delicious, but I cooked the pint of cream in this small saucepan. And because it kept boiling over, I cooked it at a relatively low temperature. That was a mistake, because look how it turned out. After being in the fridge all night, it is not clotted at all. It's thick, but this is just thick cream, not clotted cream. The next day, I made more clotted cream. I just felt like I needed to get to that Goldilocks place where the cream was not too thick or too thin. So here's what it looked like. I cooked this for about 15 minutes, and then I could see how it was kind of thickening around the edges. And so I turned the heat off. The other thing is it really leaves a trail, and you can see like the thick kind of semi-clotting cream around the edges. So that's when you know stop boiling. If you keep boiling longer than that, then you end up the next day with cream that's so thick it's like cement. I just want to show how you can see the thickened cream kind of collecting on the edges of the pan as I was pouring it into the dish. So that's how you know that it's cooked long enough to really be clotted cream. This is like my 7th or 8th batch of clotted cream, and I think this is gonna be the best one. I don't want to jinx it, but oh my goodness, look at this, look at this. This is literally perfect. Spreadable, creamy, oh my, yes. To recap, here are my tips for getting the recipe just right. Use a 3-quart saucepan. This helps reduce the liquid faster. Use only 1 pint or 2 cups of heavy cream, which is 35 to 40% fat. You can add a teaspoon of butter if you like. Cook on medium heat the whole time, no higher. When I cooked at a higher heat, I scorched the cream. Whisk continuously once the cream has started bubbling, and take off the heat when the cream feels noticeably thicker, is shallower in the pan, and is thickening around the edges of the saucepan. When you try pouring into the bowl, you should see a thick track of cream when you scrape the bottom of the pan with a spatula. For me, this is the most helpful visual of this whole video. These 2 bowls are 2-cup capacity. When I boiled the one on the left to less than 50% of the original volume, it was too thick. The cream was very high fat cream, and I just boiled it too long. The end result was so firm it was like cold butter. But the batch on the right, which also started with 2 cups cream, was reduced to about 70% of the original volume, and it was a good thickness. I hope this recipe helps you make delicious clotted cream for your next cream tea. Stay tuned for next Friday's video where I share my perfected scones recipe, because I made many experimental batches of scones as well using different recipes. See you then! Thanks for watching this video, and do something good in the world today.